My name is Tom Lowenstein. I'm the Business Development Manager for Eclipse Shutters. I'm also the corporate trainer. We're going to be covering all aspects of shutter installation today. We're going to begin with how to measure for that frame, then go straight into install preparation and how to install your shutter. Welcome to frame selection. With frame selection, we have two different types of frame. We have inside mount frame and outside mount frame. What's going to determine what? Basically, let the window tell the story. There are many different obstacles that you may incur in your window. You may choose an inside mount frame and you may have an obstacle or an alarm system or a tilt-in window that won't allow you to do that, so you have to go to an outside mount. In this series, what we want to do is we want to show you the choices you have for both inside mount and outside mount. With our selection, I believe that you can fit any shutter into any window. Inside mount applications are exactly that, inside the window opening. But before you do an inside mount application, you want to take a look at the window. You want to see if there are any obstructions in the window. Maybe it's an alarm system, a hand crank at the bottom, or even tilt-in windows. For the example today, I'm using an L frame. This particular frame is a utility frame and it goes both inside and outside. But just to show you some of the examples of inside, this would be a flush mount inside. Then you have a recess if you want to recess this frame back, or a box out. One of the other things to consider on an inside mount application is you're going to end up measuring for this window opening, but a lot of times there's a sill on the bottom. We have that covered. For example, here's one of our inside mount frames and it has a sill on the bottom. So that frame would be placed right in here and it has a nice frame that decorates the sill on the bottom. Here are our three primary inside mount frames. Other than the L frame, you can use these three frames. Essentially, they're all the same frame. They just have three different profiles. You have a smaller profile here. This is a little bit more of a traditional look, larger profile, and an even bigger profile, a little bit more contemporary. The reason we have these different profiles on these edges is if the window is inside mount and out of square at all, these edges will cover any of the out of squareness of the window. Outside mount frame application is actually mounting the frame around the window, outside the window. So whereas before we had the L frame on the inside, we've got the L frame on the outside of the window now. And when you mount on the outside of the window, there's a couple things that you might come in contact with. You might have plain sheetrock like this, or you might have existing casement. In that case, you can mount directly onto the casement itself, or you might have to space around an obstruction. Both of our outside mount frames, the L frame and the casing frame, have extensions available to them, half-inch, that space out against the wall and can project into the room to avoid coming in contact with any obstruction. So this is how your frame would be outside the window all the way around. And if you have a sill on the bottom, which in some cases is very common, we do have what we call casing sill frame. L frame will fit flush onto a sill, but this casing sill frame makes for a very nice, attractive finish to the product. So whether it's inside or outside mounts, we have the frame that's going to fit your needs. Whether you're doing an inside or an outside mount, it's always important to consider the projection. And what I'm talking about with projection is louver operation. So in your shutter sample kit, you're going to have a sample panel. That sample panel is outfitted with both a tilt bar and a joiner link on the back here, which is important. What you want to do is you want to take, for example, we showed this on the inside mount. This is one of our inside mount frames earlier. Set your inside mount frame into the window, place your panel into the frame, and rotate your louvers. If you're going to come into any obstruction, you're going to feel it here and know, okay, I have to switch my application to an outside mount from an inside mount. But then you also want to do the same thing. I'm going to use an L frame. We're going to set this up here on the wall, set your panel into the frame, rotate your louvers. As you can see here, it rotates fine into the opening. If I scoot it out a little too far, louvers don't operate. So use your tools, use your sample kits. They'll help you stay out of trouble and make sure that you get the perfect installation every time. There are 3 keys to ordering a shutter. Check for anything that will prevent the shutter from being installed. Use your samples to verify the chosen louver will operate properly. Select the type of mount that will best meet the customer's needs, but also work best for the application.